The desert within. In moments of confusion, life can feel like a wide plain without markers. The ground stretches in every direction, and the air sits heavy. This inner landscape appears when direction fades and momentum weakens. Many people describe this feeling without words because it rises quietly and grows slowly. The question beneath the surface is simple: what carries someone forward when movement feels pointless? Viktor Frankl explored this question not through theory, but through direct experience. His life in the concentration camps revealed a truth that remains relevant today. Even when a person is stripped of almost everything, they still hold the ability to shape their inner stance. This discovery forms the basis of logotherapy. The search for meaning becomes a compass that stands firm even when nothing else seems stable. This episode explores how that meaning is found. What meaning offers. Meaning is not a distant idea. It is an orientation. Frankl saw that people who endured immense hardship shared a quiet thread. They held a reason to continue. They protected a direction no external force could fully reach. Picture a single line of light resting across calm water at daybreak. The water may shift, but the line remains visible. Meaning works in a similar way. It stabilizes attention. It provides a reference point during hardship. This is why the search for meaning is not an abstract pursuit. It is a practical act of survival. Frankl noted that strength does not come from perfect conditions. It grows when a person understands what they are moving toward. This understanding can shape the smallest choice. The willingness to make one more step is often tied to a purpose that sits quietly but firmly in the background. Why meaning matters now. Modern life offers comfort, yet the sense of direction often fades. People experience pressure, yet feel empty. Pleasure and achievement do not always settle the mind. Frankl believed the human drive is deeper. It is the will to meaning. Without it, life becomes unanchored. Imagine standing at the edge of a slow-moving river. The surface looks calm, yet the current pulls steadily. Life without meaning moves in that same steady drift. Without intention, the current chooses the path. With meaning, the direction becomes deliberate. This clarity changes how hardship is interpreted. The desert within becomes less threatening because there is something worth reaching. Frankl identified 3 reliable paths to meaning. These paths remain accessible to anyone willing to explore them. They offer structure when life feels uncertain. If these ideas already feel useful, consider subscribing. Each episode deepens this journey toward a stronger and more grounded mindset. Path 1. Purpose in action. Frankl's first path to meaning arises through purposeful action. He saw that people endure hardship when they feel responsible for a task only they can complete. This is not ambition, it is duty. Picture a young sapling growing beside a stone. The space is narrow, yet the sapling rises anyway. It grows because growth is its direction. Purpose works the same way. Frankl imagined himself teaching ideas that he had lost in manuscript form. This image strengthened him. It reminded him that his work was not finished. Purpose lifted him beyond the moment and pointed him toward what he still needed to give. Purposeful action stabilizes attention and clarifies effort. It turns daily choices into steps toward something meaningful. The difference between activity and purpose. Activity alone does not create meaning. Many people stay busy without feeling fulfilled. Frankl emphasized responsibility rather than motion. Life poses questions and waits for answers through action. Imagine a coastline shaped slowly by the tide. The water does not hurry, yet every movement is intentional. Over time, the shape becomes distinct. Purpose functions like that tide. It shapes a life through steady, committed decisions. The question becomes simple. What needs your attention? What waits for completion? These tasks define direction. They can be large or small. They simply need to be genuine. When a person identifies a meaningful responsibility, momentum becomes natural. The inner landscape begins to change. Your unique contribution. Meaningful responsibility is always personal. No one else can decide it. Frankl believed every person carries a task that is theirs alone. This is not about fame or recognition. It is about alignment. Picture a single stream cutting through quiet ground. It follows a path that no other stream will take. The movement is its own. In the same way, each person holds a path shaped by their abilities and values. The task is to recognize what calls for attention. It may be a craft. It may be care for others. It may be the quiet improvement of one skill. When this direction becomes clear, purpose strengthens. The mind becomes more stable. The desert feels less empty because there is something ahead worth reaching. Path 2. Meaning through love. Frankl's second path to meaning arises through love. Love reveals the depth within another person. Frankl described how thoughts of his wife carried him through despair, even without knowing her fate. His insight was simple. Love perceives the essence of another. It sees potential as clearly as reality. Picture a still lake reflecting a ridge at dusk. The reflection reveals details the eye may miss at first glance. Love functions similarly. It reveals layers. It brings forward strength. It reminds a person that connection is possible even in isolation. This connection nourishes the inner life. It softens hardship. It strengthens resolve. Love as a source of strength. Love is not limited to romance. It includes any moment when a person sees the truth of another. It includes admiration of beauty, appreciation of goodness, or recognition of potential. Love expands awareness. It shifts the mind away from despair. Picture a valley after rainfall. The soil becomes rich and receptive. Growth becomes possible again. Love creates that inner richness. It allows courage to grow where fear once settled. Frankl saw this repeatedly. People endured because they were connected to someone or something beyond themselves. That connection gave them strength. Love and responsibility. Love is not passive. It invites responsibility. When you care about someone, you see who they could become. Frankl believed this potential matters. Love calls a person forward. It sharpens attention and strengthens action. Picture sunlight reaching the floor of a forest. New life appears where the light touches. Love brings that same clarity. It draws out purpose and aligns behavior with values. In a world that often feels divided, love creates connection. This connection brings stability. Path 3. Meaning in hardship. Frankl's third path concerns suffering that cannot be avoided. He did not claim that suffering is desirable. He claimed that when it arrives and cannot be changed, it offers one final opportunity. The opportunity is the inner stance. Picture a large stone on a hillside. Wind and rain touch its surface, but the stone remains. Hardship gives a person the chance to adopt a stance similar to that stone, not rigid, but steady. When external options disappear, the internal response becomes the defining act. The choice within hardship. Frankl saw people in identical circumstances make different choices. Some collapsed into despair, others found moments of courage and compassion. The situation did not change, yet the meaning did. Picture a field under heavy clouds. Some areas remain dark, others reveal small breaks of light. Hardship is similar. It contains small openings. A person chooses where attention rests. Choosing dignity creates meaning, even in difficulty. This choice transforms suffering into purpose. Transforming pain into purpose. Frankl wrote that suffering stops being suffering the moment it gains meaning. This meaning often appears through endurance, compassion, or acceptance. Picture a cracked patch of ground where a single plant rises. The crack allowed the plant to emerge. Some hardships create similar openings. They reveal strength. They reveal clarity. They reveal what matters. This is not about seeking difficulty. It is about meeting difficulty with intention. The inner freedom. Frankl believed the last human freedom is the ability to choose one's attitude. This freedom cannot be taken by force. It sits beneath all external conditions. Picture a river beneath a frozen surface. The upper layer may appear still, yet movement continues below. Inner freedom works like that movement. Even when life feels fixed, the inner stance remains available. Choosing courage or dignity becomes an act of creation. Meaning and the human spirit. Meaning does not erase hardship, it gives direction through it. The three paths intertwine. Purpose guides action. Love strengthens connection. Attitude shapes endurance. Picture a ridgeline stretching toward the horizon. Each rise offers a wider view. Meaning lifts awareness gradually. Over time, clarity increases. Strength follows. If these ideas support your growth, consider joining the community. Each episode builds practical wisdom for a calm and resilient life. Building an unbreakable will. An unbreakable will is not force. It is steadiness. It is the ability to continue even when conditions change. Picture a lone tree standing on open land. It bends with the wind, yet remains rooted. A strong will behaves the same way. It adapts, yet stays aligned with purpose. Frankl's insights teach that meaning strengthens the will. When meaning is clear, hardship loses some of its power. Meaning as daily practice. Meaning is not a single discovery. It is a daily practice. Purpose must be renewed. Love must be expressed. Attitude must be chosen again and again. Picture gentle waves shaping a shoreline. Each wave is small, yet the pattern becomes visible over time. These small choices shape character. They build resilience. They clarify direction. Integrating the three paths. The three paths are not separate. They reinforce one another. Purpose gives direction. Love gives connection. Attitude gives strength. Picture three branches rising from one trunk. Each branch grows in its own way, yet all share one root system. Meaning works in that same integrated manner. When all three paths are engaged, life gains coherence. Returning to the inner desert. The inner desert still appears at times. The emptiness does not vanish. What changes is how a person meets it. Picture a traveler who now knows the landmarks. The plane is the same, yet the awareness is different. Meaning turns confusion into direction. Purpose turns fatigue into momentum. Love turns isolation into connection. Attitude turns hardship into dignity. What Frankl teaches us. Frankl's life demonstrates that external conditions do not define inner strength. His message is simple. You cannot always control what happens, but you can shape your response. Picture a clear pool fed by an underground spring. The surface may ripple, yet the source remains steady. The inner stance works like that spring. It remains available. It remains yours to shape. Moving forward with meaning. Your life will ask questions. Your answers will appear in your actions. Purpose guides those actions. Love deepens them. Attitude strengthens them. Picture the first light touching a quiet ridge. The landscape looks different than it did in darkness. Meaning brings that same shift. It reveals direction where none was visible. As you move forward, consider subscribing if you want more guidance on building a steady and grounded mind. Walk with clarity. Walk with intention. Walk with meaning.